So basically, Turner Broadcasting announced last week they're launching a new Counter-Strike League that's going to be televised nationally on TBS. So this is basically going to be a league watching people play video games. How can you not make fun of that?
Because what's wrong with them having fun? This is what they're good at. They like it.
Yeah. And then eventually they sit on a couch for months and months. And then we all have to pick up the tab on Obamacare because they never left their house for 17 years.
Have you guys seen Esports and the E-League?
I don't know if that's sports, but it's great mind savvy.
I have not seen it, Ernest.
I have seen it.
More than 12 million people attended live esports events in the U.S. and Western Europe in 2014.
They're actually giving college scholarships for video gaming.
You're kidding.
And it's even gone to the point that now the government has acknowledged professional video gamers as athletes.
Right, and how could that be? How is that athletic? I mean, I'm not
Now when we talk about, so look, first and foremost, I care about my son and his passion, and
he is sons or something?
Look, we can. I'm not here to.
But my issue is, it's still not a sport.
Well,
it's a game. You follow me what I'm saying here, Bernie?
I do. Do you have any statistics on how many of those people also go to Star Trek conventions?
I would guess there's actually a fair amount of overlap, actually. That's
It is not a
You're
sport.
too young for Star Trek. Strategy and...
That's not a sport.
It's not a sport.
That's not a sport.
It's not a real
I want to
sport.
talk about the 20 million people who are watching the damn.
If I'm being, professional, I would definitely say that traditionally video games have this looked down as, it's just a waste of time.
Envy. A feeling of discontented or resentful longing aroused by someone else's possessions, quality, or luck. To me, envy means being jealous of something someone has. A feeling of entitlement to a thing, quote unquote, easy to obtain. On July 28th, 2019, a player by the name of Booga won $3 million from winning a Fortnite World Cup. A 16-year-old kid won $3 million, and all the media can say is, from playing video games? Media outlets are scoffing at the fact that a 16-year-old kid gained more in a day than they will ever see in a lifetime. I should just quit my job and play video games. Because video games are so easy. Video games in a modern society get a bad rap, whether it be from people claiming that it causes violence in our society or claiming that it's mind-numbing. It baffles the majority that so many people are taking it so seriously. Twitch.tv in the first quarter of this year pulled in 1.25 million concurrent viewers for people that play video games. Tournaments, solo streamers, and all sorts of other people stream themselves live to this site, myself included, to what? Play video games? Why would people sit there for hours and play these competitive games and stream to people that they don't even know on the internet? That's why I'm here today. To maybe enlighten you a little bit. To maybe show you a different look on a foreign concept to most. To show you why having an open mind would be, well, optimal. Esports, or electronic sports, are a form of competition using video games. Usually a multiplayer game made for competition in either player versus player or team versus team environment. Games like League of Legends, StarCraft, and Super Smash Bros. Are very popular games that fall into the category of competitive gaming. The earliest known esport was done in 1972 for a game called Space War. Like I said in the intro sequence, 16-year-old Booga won $3 million in the latest esports fad, Fortnite. So this first prize had to start somewhere. The grand prize was a year subscription to Rolling Stones magazine. It was serious stuff, I know. There was no such thing as a professional gamer. At least no one considered it a desirable job. Video games were a hobby that children played, and that was that. If you happened to be good at it, then so be it. There was nothing you could do with that. The real start of esports, in my opinion, was with fighting games like Street Fighter and Super Smash Bros. It was two people, 1 versus 1. No team to rely on, and no points. It was live fighting against each other, just duking it out. It was a true showcase of the skill between two individuals. This in turn caused people to practice certain mechanics in the game's tech to increase their knowledge and skills. Repetition, repetition, repetition. Players would begin to spend hours of their day just practicing certain inputs to always perform them precisely against real opponents.
It's a really interesting type of learning where you play over time a lot to try and practice and get into muscle memory, all of those weird quirks about a game. Like you could say Overwatch and Team Fortress 2 are really similar games, but when you really look at them under a fine lens, then they are very different from each other.
It all just comes with practice and patience. You know, you win some, you lose some, but the more dedicated you stay, the easier it is to kind of pick up on these things and learn.
The grind never stopped because their opponent's grind never stopped. This competitiveness brought light to other games made specifically to be an esport. Dota 2 and League of Legends were specifically catered to be some of the biggest competitive games known today. They were not normal fighting games. They were MOBAs, or multiplayer online battle arenas. The player chose specific characters that they wanted to play and bought in-game items to buff stats to make them more powerful in the game itself, all to, in the end, destroy an objective. Games like these brought things to light called a meta, a word that you've probably heard before. The word in esports means the norm or what is most optimal to use in the current update or patch. The meta causes players to be constantly adapting in order to stay on top of their game.
You have to learn how to run a gun, how to spray transfer, how to hit these one taps, how to jiggle peek, and I definitely think that if you want to practice these things other than just playing the game consistently, you know, you got to load these different maps where you can learn your grenades, you can learn pre-fire angles, you can learn, you know, just call-outs.
Other games like Counter-Strike Global Offensive and Call of Duty are examples of FPS or first-person shooters. Showed a more team-based strategy to collect an objective.
Gotta go back, Stewie's on his own, but look at the time! Look at the time, there's 7 seconds to plant the bomb! They're trying to build pyramids, but there's no more play! Stewie's won the round, we're going to overtime!
Tarek have done it! How have they done that? They came back all the way! All the way!
Whereas MOBAs are more long-term strategy. There's so much diversity between these competitive games, so it goes to show that there is not only one way to be good at an esport. An esport requires as much time and dedication as a real sport.
Sure, you're not going out and running sprints across a football field or whatever to be an esports athlete, but you're investing so much of your time and mental energy into training your brain and your hands into playing a game.
I think, you know, the big misinterpretation between these esports athletes and actual athletes, I say actual, physical athletes, is there's physical work put in and then there's more mental dedication.
It may not be as physically hard, which no one claims it to be, but that does not mean that it is not hard. An esports pro is exactly like a professional athlete.
My name is Nathan Miller.
My name is Eric Watson.
The esport that I follow the most would definitely be Counter-Strike Global Offensive. Originally, I'd actually gotten into it because one of my favorite YouTubers had started playing it, and I just played it once, and ever since then, I just had a love for it. It made it way easier to start watching it since it was growing around the time that I had gotten into it, which made it really easy to learn the game and pick up on a lot of things that just made the game fun for me.
The esport that I probably follow most is Super Smash Bros. It's a game I grew up playing, and it's really the only game other than probably League of Legends I've tried to play competitively.
In the NFL, an athlete has to be outstandingly good to be drafted onto a team or even be considered for a team. Once this person makes the team, they have to go to practice, drill, work out, and train with the rest of the team, even scrimmage on some occasions. They have to memorize plays and realize when it's a good time to be the playmaker and a good time to be a support. This is the exact same in esports.
They make it sound fun, but you'll hear these pros say all they do is practice, 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 and play. They'll get, break to eat with their team, but even when, you sit around the dinner table with your teammates, you're still talking about the game. You're still working out your strategies and, trying to find your weak points.
I saw something once that compared the amount of time per day that like an NFL star and an esports athlete put in to how much they actually play. And it's kind of crazy to think that these people play for upwards of 10 to 12 hours a day, just one game constantly for a career.
A player has to wake up every day and play their game of choice for hours on end with their team or by themselves. either drilling their aim or making certain team compositions that work better than others. And yes, scrimmages do exist. The exact same training schedule is used as professional athletes. The only difference is most NFL stars make way more money than the pros. Most is the key word. I'd like to all introduce you to a man named Michael SHROUD GRZESIEK.
Everybody knows SHROUD is just insane at video games. It's almost gotten to the point where you just know whatever he plays, he's going to be the best in it.
SHROUD is a former Counter-Strike Global Offensive professional that was on the team Cloud9. He joined Cloud9 in 2014 and retired in 2017. See, the grim reality of being an esports pro is that in its current state, the only way you make money is by winning tournaments. The more you win, the more money you get. So only the best of the best make the teams and their presence known. Many pros also have an internet presence for being extremely good or just flat out entertaining. See, SHROUD wasn't like everyone else. SHROUD was well liked by the internet. If you could deem a few individuals to be the rulers of the internet, SHROUD would be up there with everyone else.
I had just gotten into Counter-Strike. Within a week, I was trying to learn about all these pros and streamers. And I watched SHROUD on some deathmatch server. And somebody asked him, hey, can you hit one shot or one taps with the M4, which for those of you who don't know, you can't hit a one tap with an M4. It has to be a double dink, as we like to call it. And he was just hitting them left and right. And I told myself, that's what I want to do.
SHROUD would spend upwards 12 hours a day playing Counter-Strike for his team, practicing his aim, his reflexes, his strategies. After practice, it was to his home computer where he streamed himself playing Counter-Strike or other games for another couple hours so that he can make some extra money. Playing one game for 17 hours a day competitively can be very mentally draining and demanding. You could either burn out or just flat out hate the game. Eventually, this hard work paid off in the long run. See, while SHROUD was doing all of this, his internet popularity was growing. His skill was being noticed by so many. It was shown that he wasn't just a guy playing video games. He was a professional that many kids aspired to be. His skill was unmatched by the mass media. It wasn't like someone could just sit down 10 minutes and be as good as him. He took the time and energy and put it into something that could have fallen through. He was skilled. But like I said, this kind of thing can be draining. It is just as mentally demanding as regular sports would be. This is why he retired. His internet presence kept him afloat. With Ninja leaving Twitch, SHROUD is now in the top 5 streamers with a net worth of $4 million. But he just plays video games, right? How can someone make as much money as that if all he does is play video games? It's so much more than that. Just like your NFL stars, he's not only a professional, but he's an entertainer. It's not a matter of you think if he's lazy or if you think video games are a waste of time. People are watching him because they think he's either really good or really entertaining to watch. When you boil it down to its numbers, a person making $3 million from Fortnite seems insane, but the level of skill that goes pulls the viewers in to see something this abstract. The mass majority don't like it because it's not normal. Of course it's not normal. It's people playing video games at an insanely high level. But the NFL is not normal either. It's why we watch it. We watch it because these athletes are at such a high level of physical strength and endurance that it makes them different from everyday people. They are not normal people. And that's why we watch it, because it's not something we could just walk outside and see. We can't just see a hobo across the street run a 100-meter dash in 9.58 seconds. Professional athletes of any category are not normal people. There are two parts to the esports community. You have the players, and then you have the viewers. The viewers are just as important to the community as the players are. See, like I mentioned before, people enjoy watching this sort of thing. We watch these professional tournaments to satisfy our need to be entertained. Super Smash Bros. Professionals take these characters like Yoshi and Mario and do things that a person can't even imagine doing. A game like Super Smash Bros. Can be played with friends at the most basic level, or you can compete with people at a higher caliber and get better. The beauty of esports is that when this whole revolution first started, anybody had the chance. Most everyone has access to these games that these players are playing. They didn't need some crazy amount of money for equipment and field time and whatnot. You needed maybe $60, and that game was yours to play whenever you wanted. So we could watch these players do all these amazing things and then immediately go home and try it and practice it.
When you really get into an esport and you understand the fundamentals and all of the high-level strategy and techniques that the players are using, watching that be performed to the highest level is something that's really cool as a spectator, but it's also something that kind of helps you want to play better yourself.
I remember I started playing Counter-Strike because the first time I played it, I had no idea what the game was like, and I got my butt handed to me, and I was awful, but I was watching these pros who were making it look easy.
All we really needed was time. The biggest thing that has kept us hooked is the fact that the game is constantly changing, constantly updating to make the games better, or we keep discovering new things about the game's tech that keep it fresh. Super Smash Bros. Melee came out in 2001, 18 years ago, and we are still finding out new things about the game that changes the meta. Maybe it's an infinite combo that breaks the game if executed perfectly, or maybe it's just holding your control stick a little bit to the left to slow down your falling so you survive longer. No matter what it is, the game is constantly changing, and that's what keeps the viewers hooked. That's what makes us want to be better, to be the very first person to discover that new thing. I can tell you from a young age, I wanted to be pro in some games. I didn't know what, all I knew is that I wanted to go pro. As I get older though, I realize I don't really want to do that anymore, but I still want to entertain. The reason I wanted to go pro was because I watched most of these people progress and become something greater than just a gamer. And I wanted to be that. Someone people watched, looked up to. And I think that's what keeps us coming back. The wow factor of players doing incredible things and showing us that there's more to this game.
I think that everybody who follows in esports has that sort of dream of going pro and having people cheer you on and know who you are. I just think that's just part of like being a gamer. You just, you want to make a name for yourself, whether that's as a streamer, as a pro, or just, someone who's just insane at video games and people see you online. I definitely think that there's part of me that if, I could still stay consistent with the game, I would absolutely love it. Because it's not just the experience of playing the video game. I mean, you get to travel around the world, meet fans, meet other players, and build these relationships online and offline.
I would say about 50% of what made YouTube is gaming. It was why YouTube got so big. Why would people watch other people play video games though? Why not just play the game yourself? The same reason people watch football, soccer, and boxing. Entertainment. That's all it is. People love watching competitive gaming so much that the community makes tournaments all on their own. Super Smash Bros. Is a prime example of this.
It was community driven, so all the events, all the prize pools, everything was organized by the community. It didn't really have a whole lot of backing from a real organization, I guess, unless you count like EVO or, the things that have popped up around the FGC.
Nintendo did not want Super Smash Bros. To be a competitive game, but the players did. And so they made tournaments with actual cash prizes. It is completely community run. EVO is the biggest fighting game championship that just happened recently, with MKLeo winning it all, winning a grand prize of $26,000 out of 4,000 participants. $26,000. It goes to show that the community wants it to happen so bad that they'll donate their own money to make it happen. Imagine if this kind of thing was sponsored though, like Fortnite, making $3 million because Epic Games had that kind of money. The viewers love it so much that they make it so that others can watch. As a viewer, seeing it grow makes me feel really good about it. I want to see my favorite players win and succeed so I can keep watching them do what they love. It is 100% a sport to me because in the end of the day, these people are putting in more effort into their passion than half of the world's population. Esports was built by us to show the world that we can do something, that it isn't just a bunch of basement dwellers thinking they're good at something, to show them that what we do when done at a high level can really make a difference. It's catching the attention of media everywhere. Counter-Strike is officially sponsored by Buffalo Wild Wings. The Dota World Championship was streamed on ESPN without the owner's consent. The people want it. That's been shown. It may not happen now, but when the rest of the younger kids catch up in age, there'll be no one to stop us from happening. more companies will sponsor it. It's only up from here. These people, these athletes, they may not look like your typical athletes, but they are putting just as much, if not more, than these NFL and NBA stars. They put the same amount of time into practicing. They are not normal people. They are elite in the game that they can play, whether it be faster reactions or just the best game knowledge. These people are a different breed. The media will not take them serious right now. That is why it's our job to keep pushing, to make it bigger and be more accepted. Within our lifetime, it will make it big. It may not be the games that we play right now, but competitive gaming will become the new fad, guaranteed. At the end of the day, we have the power to make it happen. We have the power to make it optimal. Hey guys, T-Law here. I just wanted to say thanks for watching this video. I kind of wanted to do a little ad-lib here at the end, talk to you guys, and basically what I want to do to further this channel. I know this wasn't one of my typical video essays because, you know, what kind of got me popular was Marvel movie stuff, but I'm going to be honest with you guys. It's not that I don't like Marvel movie stuff. It's just I want my channel to be me and what I want to make, you know. Don't get me wrong. I'm going to keep making Marvel videos and superhero movies, stuff like that, but I just want to make video essays about things I'm passionate about, and that's why I decided to make this esports one. I'm really excited about this. A lot of work has gone into this, lots of hours, lots of man hours and stuff like that. I wanted to give a shout out to my friends Nathan Miller and Eric Watson for letting me interview them and whatnot. Yeah, I just wanted to kind of touch base with you guys, see just kind of let you know what I was thinking. You know, I know it's been a few months since I've uploaded, but I just want to keep creating quality content for you guys so that, you know, I don't burn out. I don't know. Either way, I love you guys. You guys are the best. Thank you for watching my video, and make sure to like and subscribe and stuff like that in case you forget to do that. All right, bye.